We are midway through the 2021 WPIAL boys soccer season, which can only mean one thing. It is crunch time for both of these two teams here tonight, the Plum Mustangs and the visiting former two-time WPIAL champion Franklin Regional Panthers. Hello, good evening, and welcome. Matt Popchock here, proudly reporting once again for Pittsburgh Soccer Now on our featured high school game of the week. Glad you could be with us for some Monday night football of our own here in western Pennsylvania, just a little bit east of downtown Pittsburgh to be precise, as two of the more powerful programs in this part of Allegheny County will go toe-to-toe for sectional bragging rights tonight. It's a big battle in boys Class 3A Section 4 as the Panthers, led by first-year head coach Thomas Luisi, come in with an overall mark of 8-1, a perfect 8-0 run through section play thus far. And the host Plum Mustangs coming in with a 6-1 mark in section play, a 7-2-1 record overall. Franklin Regional began the year with a respectable loss to last year's Class 4A runners-up in the WPIAL, Peters Township. And it's been all sunshine and roses, or pizza and pop, if you will, from there for the mighty Panthers. And for the Mustangs, the only two blemishes on their report card, so to speak, a loss to West Allegheny, another one of the teams expected to contend in Class 3A boys this year, and a tough loss in the first meeting between these two sides in Murraysville back on September the 7th, in which the Panthers pulled out a 3-2 result in overtime thanks to a last-minute goal in regulation by All-American Anthony DeFalco and a sudden victory strike by junior midfielder Jake Zimmerman, both, as you might guess, in the starting lineup for the visiting Panthers tonight. And we'll give you the complete starting 11 for both teams shortly. Both teams coming in excellent form, as I said a moment ago. The Mustangs unbeaten in 7 straight, 6-0-1 during that jaunt. The Panthers an 8-match winning streak coming into this one, and both teams in tip-top shape defensively as well. Both these coaches, for their day jobs, they are in real estate, both of them, believe it or not, and the way their teams play, there might not be a lot of real estate out there. So offense could very much be at a premium, as we are just moments away from lineup introduction, national anthem, and opening kickoff here from Plum Stadium in the borough of Plum on the campus of Plum High School here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And the Mustangs, again, looking like one of the stronger programs, as I mentioned, in Class 3A this year, ditto the Panthers. A year ago, it was the Mustangs qualifying for the WPIAL playoffs, but bowing promptly to South Fayette, whereas the Franklin Regional Panthers were one goal away from a three-peat in District 7, but it was the Mars Planets that took them down in the WPIAL 3A championship at North Allegheny's Newman Stadium a year ago. And the Panthers, needless to say, a team with a lot to prove in 2021 and doing a pretty fine job of it so far. Both these teams, again, playing very, very responsible defensive soccer. The veteran head coach, Raf Kolankowski, very pleased with his team over the weekend in a goalless draw against Norwin out of section. Franklin Regional also, this past Saturday, handling its business with a 6-0 decision at Woodland Hills. And it was DeFalco, among others, the hero in that one. DeFalco netting the hat trick before halftime as the Panthers ended up coasting to a dominant win. And we are just about half a minute away from the end of the warm-up period here at Plum Stadium. Starting lineups have been turned in preliminarily. The Panthers looking like they're going to come out in something of a 3-4-3 shape, if you like. The starters for Franklin Regional, unofficially, it'll be Selikar in goal, Rupnick, Zimmerman, Dawson, Todd, Cristofano, Hudson, Kafori, DeFalco, Bain, and Kimmich. to round out the starting 11 for Franklin Regional. And Plum going with the sophomore Owen Zaleski between the pipes. And it'll be the senior Ian Yorick topping off that 5-4-1 formation for Raf Kolonkowski. Yorick, Waleski, Pittman, Akut, Lucas Pittman, that is, Luke Kolonkowski, Ryan, McKinley, Schreckengost, Morrill, and Rose are your unofficial starting 11 for the Plum Mustangs.
Section matchup between your Plum Borough Mustangs and the Franklin Regional Panthers. Your paid admission to this event entitles you to enjoy an exhibition of skills developed by students in an educational setting. By meeting the challenge of sportsmanship in the stands, you are providing a sound example for students as well as representing your community in school with dignity and pride. Booing, taunting, or intimidating officials and opponents is unacceptable behavior. Please give the student-athlete participants your positive encouragement and support. And remember the WPIAL motto, sportsmanship, the only missing piece is you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, your starting lineups for your Franklin Regional Panthers. Junior number 5, defender Jake Zimmerman. Junior midfielder number 6, Samuel Dawson. Senior number 8, defender Addison Todd. Number 9, junior midfielder Billy Cristofano. Junior number 10, midfielder Colton Hudson. Number 20, sophomore defender Dominic Kafuri. Senior midfielder number 21, Anthony DeFalco. Freshman midfielder number 23, Joey Bain. Junior midfielder number 24, Jacob Kimmich. Senior defender number 37, Nicholas Rapnick. And your sophomore goalkeeper number 41, Aran Salokar. The Panthers are coached by Josh Zimmerman. And now for your Plum Mustangs, senior forward number 2, Ian Urick. Senior defender number 5, Captain Michael Waleski. Junior midfielder number 8, Lucas Pittman. Senior midfielder number 9, Dylan Akut. Senior captain number 10, Luke Kolonkowski. Senior defender number 11, Kyle Ryan, captain as well. Junior defender number 15, Colin McKinley. Junior midfielder number 18, Tyler Schreckenglass. Junior defender number 19, Nathan Morrill. Junior defender number 21, Ethan Rose. And your keeper this evening, 00, Owen Zalowski. Hold on one second. Your Plum Borough coaches, head coach Ralph Kolinkowski, assistant coach Greg Pittman, Rick Neese, and Sean Gilday. AD is Josh Shoup. The fellas out there were accompanied by some ball boys from your U11 Poise Plum Avalanche team. Their names are as follows: Beckett Bombera, George Bechtold, Braden Devine, Nicholas Kovac, Ethan Lyons, Brandon Matthew, Ryan Porter, Brandon Van Tyne, Luca Vernega, and last but not least, Ben Volmer. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise, and gentlemen, remove your hats for the singing of the Star Spangled Banner.
Well, the sun has set on a clear and very comfortable evening in the greater Pittsburgh area. The Plum Mustangs decked out in their home purples with purple pants and socks and mustard yellow trim and numerals. A sharp contrast, to be sure, to the visiting Franklin Regional Panthers all-white kit. White uniform tops, white shorts, white socks, and dark, either black or dark purple uniforms. Hard to surmise from our vantage point, but they've got dark numerals on the back and that block serif FR emblem right in the middle of the kit. The Plum Mustangs repair to the left half of the field here at Plum Stadium, which is adorned with that pit script-looking Plum logo, if you will, inside the midfield circle. And it'll be the visiting Panthers who have the first touch, as they will attack from right to left on your computer screen or mobile device. Both teams are ready. So are we, and so are the Franklin Regional Panthers, who move the ball to their back line to begin the contest. With it for Franklin Regional is Samuel Dawson, who turns it over. That turnover forced by number 10, Luke Kolonkowski of the Mustangs. Kolonkowski near side for Ethan Rose. Rose back to his back line. Near midfield, the Mustangs try to settle the play down. They can't. Good work there by Waleski to clean up the back end as he is tripped near the midfield stripe. Foul on Franklin Regional. And the Mustangs get the first free restart for either side, 42 seconds in. This free kick will be just about right at the center stripe. In fact, it'll be about 5-6 yards behind the center stripe as the ball is reset by the Mustangs and sent deep into the box, and coming well off his line to grab that ball is Selikar, the sophomore keeper. Both these teams sharp as attack defensively. Franklin Regional coming in, defending a streak of over 600 minutes of scoreless football. That's 7 consecutive clean sheets. They have not conceded since the first half, as this ball is pushed just wide of the Franklin Regional goal. They have not conceded since the first half of the last meeting between these two teams. The Mustangs have to feel very confident about their own situation with Zaleski in net at the other end. Zalewski and the Mustangs coming off back-to-back clean sheets, and they have blanked 4 of their last 5 foes overall. Corner kick to the Mustangs from the near flag. It's into the box and dribbled in the general direction of goal, but wide to the left, where it'll be easily scooped up by Selikar, who hurls it out to his right, and Franklin Regional is very quickly on the move down the far sideline. Tie up in front of the Panther bench. It'll be a whistle against the Mustangs and a free kick for Franklin Regional from about 40 yards out or so. They go short with the free kick and continue to methodically work the ball down that right flank. But the Panthers have nowhere to go with their cross attempt. It'll be knocked over the back line, and now Franklin Regional will get its first corner kick of the evening in a goalless affair 3 minutes in. Franklin Regional working with urgency now as the ball is drilled into the box and headed over the football goal posts, and that'll be a goal kick to the Mustangs. So we get our first look at Zalewski. Both goaltenders decked out in their wired distinctive uniforms, both wearing a neon green or lime green, if you will, this evening at both ends. Mustangs have it at the top of their own half. Now they work it over the center line. This ball sent deep, a little too far for its intended target, and it'll be scooped up by Selikar at the top of his box, who quickly gets the play going in the other direction. Collision just beyond midfield in the Plum half, and it'll be a foul on the Mustangs, and DeFalco will put this ball back in play via throw-in. The All-State honoree intended that throw-in for Joey Bain, the freshman, it appeared, but that was well cut out by the Mustangs as this ball goes out of bounds on the far vacant side of the stadium for a Mustangs throw-in in the shallow end of the Franklin Regional half. Panther, but now so does Plum. And here with it now is Rose. Rose is dispossessed quickly. Both these teams, again, very similar. From approximately midfield, it is immediately headed out by a Mustang midfielder. Another throw-in for the Panthers. And this one is a little bit more successful. Franklin Regional able to work it out to the center circle. Here's Dawson on the ball. His long centering pass intended for Cristofano is given away. But now Dawson creates a turnover of his own, sends it up ahead for DeFalco, who just kind of redirected it backwards off his head. I don't think DeFalco was ready to take that pass, quite honestly, and the Mustangs are going to try to clear their own zone. Rose with it, followed by a Franklin Regional midi, and the Panthers muddy the waters again at the top of their own defensive half. But Plum does earn a throw-in at midfield, and this ball is settled down for a moment by Urich, but he can't hang on to it. With it for Franklin Regional is Bain. Bain, the freshman, goes right side. Now middle of the field for DeFalco. That's cut out well. Good defense there by the senior Waleski. And Plum tries to settle the play down. Kolinkowski, left wing pass, goes by everybody. And this will be a throw-in at midfield for the Panthers, right between the benches, in a goalless game on 7 minutes. Plum has it now at the top of its own half. Up ahead it comes now for Morrill. Morrill draws a double team, now goes to his left. Plum working that left side, trying to attack the right back in that spot for Franklin Regional. Goes out of bounds. Quick throw in by the Mustangs. And Plum trying to get something going in the attacking third here, but just not much room to operate in front of their own bench, and they'll have to settle for another offensive throw-in. Panthers continue to be stubborn as this one is hurled back in play and cleared out across the far touchline. It'll be another throw-in just in front of the corner flag off in the distance for the Mustangs, who keep possession. Now this cross goes into the box and beyond the box past everybody. Plum does settle the ball down, though. Tapping it up ahead is Urich. Can't find anybody to go to, and Franklin Regional will clear the ball. Driven the other direction by Waleski, who's playing up ahead. And it goes out of bounds. Throw in defensively now for Franklin Regional near side. Intercepted by the Mustangs. They might have a chance here. With it is Schreckengost. Schreckengost, top of the box. Centers it for Kolinkowski. Kolinkowski is taken down at the top of the box. They say play on. Kolinkowski was trying to fake out his man there and maybe made just one too many moves as he looked for some shooting space from about 18 yards out. Urich with it now, retreating for Plum, as this ball is driven on a rope back into the Franklin Regional half, and the Panthers take it over. Colton Hudson is dispossessed, and here comes Plum one more time. Through ball intended for Kolinkowski by Urich is instead going to go to Selikar, who rolls it casually to his left, with Plum trying to get back in a defensive position. DeFalco with a beautiful backheel pass, but it's going to be a little too far for Bain, it appears. Bain, good hustle, though, earns himself a throw-in in the... no, that's going to be... Yes, I was going to say that should be Panther ball.
Are you kidding me?
It looked like, from our vantage point, it went off a defender. Plum fans not happy with the call, but the Panthers do win an offensive zone throw-in here. And it'll be Addison Todd doing the honors. He went to Bain, who was looking to go back to DeFalco, and DeFalco was trapped. The pass went wide. No, that was Cristofano who was looking to go back to DeFalco. I beg your pardon. In any event, it's a busted play. And this time Plum will get a throw-in near side, as going down hard and drawing a foul in the midfield area is Tyler Schreckengost. And this free kick from the Mustangs will be within the circle, taken by the aggrieved party. 11 minutes in, 0-0. And we hear a whistle here, as apparently the quick restart by the Plum Mustangs was a tad too quick. And Dylan Akett, the senior midfielder, will try again. And it appears Akett is actually going to yield to Waleski, the senior defender. Waleski drives it long and deep down the left side, intended for Akett. Akett chases it to the corner flag, but runs out of room, and it'll be a goal kick to Franklin Regional. Selikar has it teed up, and this goal kick is a low-line drive that goes over the head of the nearest Panther, Samuel Dawson, the junior midi. And this Hard strike goes off of Franklin Regional body as quickly the Plum Mustangs were trying to catch Franklin Regional on the counter. That was Kolinkowski trying to get a shot on target, but it was blocked. And now a long lead ball for DeFalco. Looks like it went off his hand, and he kind of knows it as he just kind of drops his shoulders and watches the ball go in the other direction. Out of bounds throw into Franklin Regional. And playing the ball now right in front of the press box is Franklin Regional's Colton Hudson. The Panthers, coached for many years by Rand Hudson, who stepped away after last season to spend time with his family, see his kids go on and play college soccer themselves, and a very respectable run. We talk about that streak of clean sheets that Franklin Regional was on, the 7 straight shutouts. 45 of 64 matches for Franklin Regional have ended in clean sheets, and that's just unbelievable. I don't care what level you are. Remarkable work for all those years by Hudson, and basically handed Thomas Luisi the keys to the Ferrari and said, don't wreck it. And Luisi's done a heck of a job here in his first season. Meanwhile, we've got action to the left of the Mustangs' goal as Franklin Regional earns a throw-in from 30 yards out. Putting this ball off a plumb foot is one of the Panthers, but it comes right to Zalewski on a fortuitous deflection for Plum, and the Mustangs will try to clear the offensive zone. They cannot. They get as far as the 40-yard line on the American football side of things before they are met by Billy Cristofano, and the Panthers will reset the ball back to their own keeper, or try to. This outlet pass is actually turned over, and it's going to be a throw-in for Plum, far side, top of the attacking third. Nothing comes of it, however, and the Panthers send the ball into the middle of the field. DeFalco, near side for Cristofano. Cristofano looking for Bain. It comes back to one of the Panthers. That's number 8, Addison Todd. And eventually catching up to this loose ball in the middle of the neutral zone will be Plum. It comes up ahead now to Schreckengost. Schreckengost being worked over hard by Dawson, and Schreckengost wins that battle. Cross to the right, and they connect to Ethan Rose. Rose dribbling to the middle of the field, looking for room to operate. He'll go left side. Plum being patient here. Kolinkowski couldn't handle the centering pass, and the Mustangs will have to reset their attack. They will do just that, and with it now at the top of the attacking third, is Aikut. Panthers playing sound positional soccer defensively on that sequence as the ball is sent back toward midfield. Plum with it one more time. Can they get something started? No, they can't. DeFalco is waiting for it at midfield, shrugs off a defender, and comes up ahead, drawing a double, triple, dare I say, quadruple team. DeFalco with a rip, but it's right into the breadbasket of Owen Zalewski from the right elbow. Now, shot on goal, never a bad play, and DeFalco can certainly shoot the ball, to say the absolute least, but Zalewski was in perfect position for that one. And so we remain scoreless on 15 minutes here in the first half from Plum High School. Comes near side to Yorick. Intercepted by Cristofano. Cristofano looking for DeFalco up ahead. Can he get there first? No, he cannot. Zalewski off his line and grabs it at the top of the box. And he will outlet the ball to one of the Mustangs, who kind of play pitch and catch between the defensemen. And finally the ball is gotten back up toward the middle of the field by the home team. Yorick with it, right wing. Long ball, and a good one for Kolinkowski. Kolinkowski deep in the near corner. Retreats. Now tries to nutmeg the defender, but nothing doing. Franklin Regional taking over near midfield. Here's Bain with it. Franklin Regional playing a lot of younger players, especially on defense this year, and interesting to see Bain, a freshman, out there as part of the starting 11. Luisi very fond of the experience his freshmen have been getting in this first half of the season, and now as we enter the second half of regular season play in WPIAL action. Long ball for Kolinkowski, too long in fact, and taking it on the bounce is the goalkeeper Selikar for Franklin Regional, and he will wait and punt this ball high into the evening sky and out of bounds in front of the Franklin Regional bench. It'll be a throw-in for Plum on their side of the field. Junior midfielder Dylan Tom sees his first action of the night for the Panthers. First change documented for either side to this point. 17th minute, 0-0, as we get a foul against the Panthers and a free kick to Plum in the Franklin Regional half, right in front of the Mustangs bench.
Regional foul, free kick for Plum.
And the taker for the Mustangs is directing traffic on this long ball, which goes off a Plum head and is picked up at the top of the box by the Mustangs, but they are too well defended, so they have to pull it back. Turning around and finding a bit of space is Kolinkowski. Plum pulling back out. And this entry pass is going to be cleared out of there. Good defensive work there by Addison Todd, the senior. And Franklin Regional will drive that ball contentedly into the visiting stands. A festive and socially distanced lot on this side of the stadium tonight, and that's what this matchup usually brings. It brings out a big crowd. Plum and Franklin Regional, again, two of the Titans in boys Class 3A this season. Plum with it. Beyond midfield. Centering pass. Up ahead it comes. And chasing this ball now is Morrill. Morrill can't get there in time. Good job of cleanup work there by the Franklin Regional back line. Looked like that was Kimmich, the junior defensive midfielder, who kept the Mustangs from getting a high danger opportunity there a moment ago. And now, in the meantime, we've got a foul defensively on one of the Mustangs, and that'll be a quick free kick for Franklin Regional on the Plum half of the pitch. Mustangs not standing on ceremony, though. They steal the ball and get it right back up ahead in the middle of the field to Ian Urick, and Urick was trying to go to Dylan Aikett on his right, but Aikett was too well marked. Teams battling for this ball in neutral territory, and this 50-50 ball will be won by the Mustangs, it appears. Quickly, a triple team employed by the Panthers, and Plum will settle for a throw-in in the offensive half. From the Mustangs bench area, it's put back into play midway through a goalless first half here at Plum High School Stadium. From the center stripe, long ball on the right side goes too far for the intended target, Kolinkowski, and it'll be a defensive throw-in for Franklin Regional from about 30-ish yards from goal.
Finally, substitution 22, Dylan Tom.
And now Dylan Tom does come into the match. We had identified him as a substitute earlier. Officials finally letting him enter, so it becomes official now. Franklin Regional trying to build something up on the right side, but that is thwarted by Plum defensively. And again, Franklin Regional quickly triple teaming the man with the ball. They are on the ball, quite literally, no matter who has it for the Mustangs. Just a real pack mentality on defense for Thomas Luisi's side. And a tie-up here in neutral territory is going to be whistled against the Mustangs. It'll be a free kick in the offensive half for Franklin Regional. And a pregnant pause here as the Panthers get ready to restart play, and it looks like DeFalco is going to take the free kick. It'll be about a 45, 50-yarder maybe. It's a line drive that goes off ahead and out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick to the Mustangs. And it looks like that one went off the noggin of number 10, Hudson, the junior midfielder. Plum now with it defensively. Trying to go up the middle. Now they just sort of list over to the right side of the field. And with some fancy footwork here is Kolinkowski into the Franklin Regional half. Kolinkowski weaving to his left as the Mustangs try to work the ball up the field, but they won't get very far. And now Franklin Regional on the counterattack earns an offensive throw-in just to the left of its bench from our vantage point. Middle of the field, it comes now to DeFalco. DeFalco creating space. DeFalco shrugs off contact. And he cannot maintain possession, however, as Franklin Regional was fighting for this ball and tried to put it into the box for nobody in particular. And that'll be Olszewski as he drop kicks it beyond the 50-yard line on the football field. Plum settling it down. The back line works it left to right. And now they get it up to the midfield where it's held by Kolinkowski. Kolinkowski battling one-on-one with Cristofano. And Cristofano wins that battle. And here's a through ball intended for DeFalco, who's frustrated with himself as he just missed that one. Looked like the Mustangs had it fairly well covered, but again, with a player of DeFalco's skill set, you never want to assume anything. And so, fortunately for the Mustangs' sake, it goes out of bounds, and it'll be another goal kick for Plum. 24th minute, no score. Plum and Franklin Regional battling for bragging rights in boys Class 3A Section 4. Here's a pass down the left flank for Cristofano. Cristofano chases it to the near corner. And that cross will be intercepted by the Mustangs and sent out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Franklin Regional inside the attacking third. With the ball near side is Dawson. Dawson quickly inbounds it. Mustangs trying to knock it away. They can't. Here's Todd of the Panthers for Dawson. Dawson outmaneuvers a man for DeFalco. Looking up ahead to Dawson. It goes off ahead. It's loose. And that was an alert deflection, actually, by Ethan Rose, the junior defenseman, right to his keeper, Owen Zalewski, who was able to make the easy scoop and send it back to midfield. And both players muscling each other hard for this 50-50 ball, and some jersey grabbing is called against the Plum Mustangs, much to the chagrin of some of the amateur referees, as it were, that sit in front of me. Free kick Franklin Regional in the offensive half. And DeFalco will take it near side. From over 50 yards away, he drills it into the right corner of the offensive zone. Nice turnaround maneuver there, and a cross is off the head of one of the Panthers and over the back line. And what are they going to call here? They're going to say it was last touched by one of the Mustangs, and it will be a corner kick for Franklin Regional. So DeFalco does make at least a little something happen off that set piece for the Panthers. And they will try to break the ice with 14 and a half to play in this first half. This ball was drilled toward goal. Off ahead and off the bar. It's loose. Still bounding around in the box and cleared by the Mustangs. And Plum, before I can positively identify the man who put that off the woodwork for the Panthers, is quickly on the counterattack. And one of the Mustangs was taken down from behind. But they're going to say that that was all ball, and it's going to be a throw-in for Franklin Regional in its own half. Now Plum does get the ball back as Franklin Regional is called for a foul in the midfield. Tristan Ralph, the sophomore striker, coming in off the bench for Raf Kolinkowski's Plum Mustangs. First sub of the night for the home team. As we remain scoreless, though, not for nothing. Franklin Regional nearly connecting on the corner kick there. As Billy Cristofano, I think, was the man who put it right off his head. A perfect header, except for one thing. It didn't go in. It went right off the crossbar, and Zalewski might have gotten a piece of it as well. But a tense moment there for Plum defensively. Now Plum trying to get something going the other way. But a good job of stand-up defense there at midfield by Kimmich. Near side it comes. Eventually to Cristofano, who just missed scoring the first goal of this match moments ago. Now one of the Mustangs is tied up in his own defensive third before it's drilled away by Rose. Giving chase defensively for Franklin Regional is Caleb Lorenz, the junior. And this ball is put by one of the Panthers off one of a teammates' bodies. And here comes Plum quickly on the counterattack. Up ahead of the play is Schreckengost, but Schreckengost is promptly double-teamed again. Franklin Regional doing such a great job defensively of flocking to that ball and not giving Plum a whole ton of space to operate. The teams battle it out here in the neutral zone as eventually the ball comes free to Plum's 14, Ralph. Ralph up ahead, and here's an opportunity. Chip shot, score! On 29 minutes, the Mustangs are on top, and the shutout streak is over. Dylan Akut, the senior midfielder, his second of the campaign. And fitting that it would be the Mustangs that brings that aforementioned streak to an end. Over 600 minutes of scoreless soccer is done and dusted thanks to a brilliant lead pass by Tristan Ralph, who came off the bench to make that pass. And Akut was all alone, beating the keeper, Selikar, the sophomore, to the ball at the top of the box, and he very easily chipped it over the diminutive sophomore's head. And it is 1-0 to the Mustangs in the 29th minute. And so for Franklin Regional, the erstwhile two-time district champs, an unfamiliar spot of adversity here on the road, playing a fired-up Plum side that has the game's first goal. Again, it is scored by Dylan Akut, the senior midfielder, his second of the season, set up by Tristan Ralph. And this ball into the box is going to be scooped up on a close call by Selikar.
Correction on the goal. Number 8, Lucas Pittman, assisted by Tristan Ralph. My bad.
And there's a correction on the goal for the Mustangs as this ball is played in the midfield area. They're going to give it to number 8, Lucas Pittman. And following that, that will be the junior's 9th, team-leading 9th, in fact, of the season. Pittman, the junior midfielder. Of course, Ben Pittman, his fellow junior, broke his femur in that last meeting against Franklin Regional, and the team has really rallied around Ben Pittman since, and fitting that it would be a Pittman that not only scores the first goal of the game for these teams, but gets that long-standing goose egg off the board, in which I'm sure Franklin Regional took much pride. A big, big goal by Lucas Pittman, number 8, not to be confused with number 9, Dylan Akut, as Pittman took the pass from Ralph and chipped it over the head of Selikar. And now the Mustangs with the ball at midfield will look for another with under 10 minutes to play in the first half. a very, very quick developing play. And, coming from a hockey background, you just try to follow who leads the celebration line, and that's what we did. And before we knew it, the celebration line had left our field of vision. So mercifully, we did get it right, and it is, we believe, at this point, Pittman's goal. And again, that gives him one more than Ethan Rose, his nearest teammate. Rose coming in tonight with 8, Pittman now with 9, and not too many bigger than that one, though, especially if Plum can make it hold up with that stout defense they've been playing of late. Mustangs trapped in their corner defensively, and they try to carefully work it up the far sideline and do. Franklin Regional's back line retreating in haste as the Mustangs continue to drive that ball down the left wing. And it's out of bounds off one of the Panther midfielders, and it'll be a throw-in for Plum from inside the Franklin Regional half.
Plum substitution number 27, Zach Fulton.
This through ball is for Tristan Ralph. Too far for Tristan Ralph. And this time that was, I think, Pittman looking to go to Ralph. But a little bit too far, and it'll be a goal kick for the Panthers. And not much of a goal kick as it falls short of midfield, out of bounds off the Panthers, throw into Plum in the offensive half. And Pittman, the goal scorer, returns to action after being subbed off briefly by Raf Kolinkowski. Ball out of bounds near side this time. It's going to belong to Franklin Regional on a throw-in. And here come the Panthers on the attack with some space at the top of the box. It is giving chase Dylan Tom, but Tom is cut off of that ball at the last second as it goes out for a deep throw-in offensively for Franklin Regional. And now the Panthers will get to throw it in one more time deep in the attacking third from the far side of the field. 1-0 to the Plum Mustangs on a goal roughly 5 minutes ago by Lucas Pittman, the junior midfielder, assisted by the substitute Tristan Ralph, the sophomore forward. And here's a drive just wide of the left of goal from about 25 or so yards out by Franklin Regional's Zimmerman, the junior midi. And we have some more newcomers for the Mustangs as Aldi Flowers comes in. Of course, Dede Flowers for 4 years, a real notable scoring threat for this Plum varsity squad. And it was the elder Flowers who, in fact, scored the Mustangs' lone goal the last time these two teams faced each other on this field. Out for a Franklin Regional throw-in at midfield, right in front of the Plum cheerleading squad. And Flowers gets his first touch of the night in the defensive half. And this ball will be an errant one that goes for another Franklin Regional throw-in. This time, the Mustangs concede a few more yards, but they are able to clear their zone promptly. Mustangs not going to let this ball go out of bounds again. Instead, they're going to try and keep it in play as DeFalco gives chase. And DeFalco has it. DeFalco, top of the box, is almost taken down, manages to keep his feet, and a good job of work, tandem defense there by the Plum Mustangs to dispossess DeFalco, and avoid fouling him for that matter, because that could have been very, very dangerous as DeFalco got tied up with a couple of Plum defenders while he was trying to get a clean look at goal. 4.5 to go in the first half. Plum 1, Franklin Regional 0. Nice move there. What dribbling by Ralph. Ralph on goal. It's blocked and cleared to the flag by the Franklin Regional Panthers. Quick throw in for Plum. Actually, yes, this will be a throw in. It went out just shy of the back line. Loose ball is won by Franklin Regional in the corner, top corner of the box, that is. Plum regaining possession in the Franklin Regional half, trying to set up shop here. But the Panthers are able to get their midfield organized and create some traffic problems. Zimmerman with it. He is double-teamed and takes some hard contact there from Flowers, who is whistled for the foul. Defensive free kick for the Franklin Regional Panthers will be taken by Kimmich. He goes short with it, near side to Todd. Todd, up ahead, intended for Zimmerman. Looking for the Franklin Regional substitute. That's Gary Zhang, the junior forward, who's into the match for the Panthers. This centering ball for DeFalco is sent near side for Zhang. Zhang deep in the left corner. Tries to cross, and it's off a Plum body. Zhang doing some great work deep in the offensive end here for Franklin Regional as he draws some contact, but that contact was initiated, they say, by Gary Zhang. Defensive free kick for the Mustangs at the top of their own 18-yard box. 2:40 to go, and the Mustangs have the game's only goal, trying to make a statement here at home against the team that handed them their only sectional loss to this point back at the beginning of September. As this ball was up ahead on the right side for Ralph. Ralph, who's made some great runs off the bench in this first half, and one that led to a goal directly, is taken off the ball. It goes out of bounds, and Plum is unable to do anything off the restart. So the Mustangs will retreat a bit here. And they move it back and forth across the timeline. And here's another through ball intended for Yorick. Yorick can't get there in time, though. Racing out to the far edge of the box was Selikar. Great hustle by the sophomore as he tries to keep his team in the match. Mustangs with it. Left wing side, giving chase is Flowers. Flowers deep into the box, gets it around a sliding Selikar, and it goes over the back line for a Plum corner kick at the far flag. Flowers certainly not looking like a rookie on that sequence, as his hustle generates a set-piece opportunity here for Plum, looking to double its advantage. Final minute to play, first half. Top of the box. Here's a drive. It goes off a Plum body, in fact. That looked like, oh boy, Selikar might have been leading the wrong way, as I think Akut might have fired that ball and might have had an opportunity there if it hadn't been off the body of one of the Mustangs. I think that might have been Colin McKinley, the junior, that inadvertently got in the way, but don't quite hold me to that. Oh, actually, I'm going to take that back. That might have been Ralph 14, not McKinley 15. In any event, this ball is picked up in the final 12 seconds by Zalewski, and it looks like that's going to be that for the first half.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it is.
Your halftime score, your Plum Mustangs 1. Franklin Regional 0.
Franklin Regional, we said it coming in, 7 consecutive clean sheets. No longer. This Plum side rallying around the injured Ben Pittman, and it was another Pittman that did the job. Lucas Pittman, his team leading ninth in the 29th minute. And that's the difference thus far. Plum Mustangs 1-0 over the Franklin Regional Panthers at the break. And we'll be back for the second half shortly here in Plum Borough. I'm Matt Popchock, and you are listening to the high school game of the week here on Pittsburgh Soccer Now.
It's all clean, mobile pressure washing. Green Lakes Golf Course.
Looking for royalty-free music? Discover Epidemic Sound. Get the safest music subscription for content creators with over 35,000 tracks and 90,000 sound effects. Start your 30-day free trial today.
Back here at Plum Stadium, Plum High School, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where the Plum Mustangs hold a 1-0 advantage over the Franklin Regional Panthers in a key boys Class 3A Section 4 rematch. And no matter the outcome, it's a testament to both these teams that to this point in the season we're really roughly at the midway point of the regular campaign for the boys in WPIAL play, more or less. To this point, neither team has really had to face a lot of real serious adversity in any of their games to this point. Again, that's a testament to both sides, and now we're going to see just how well the Franklin Regional Panthers deal with some adversity on the road here, as they have conceded for the first time since the last time these teams met in Murraysville back on the 7th of September. And neither team offensively had a lot of room to operate, which we said was to be expected with the way these teams had been playing defensively. But that all changed on 29 minutes when Tristan Ralph, coming off the bench for Ralph Kolinkowski, came flying down the right side, drove the attacking third, and lobbed a perfect ball to his left. Wide open Lucas Pittman, and the junior midfielder made sure that the Franklin Regional Panthers were as surprised as we were, quite honestly, that he was still onside. And even though Selikar came out to play the ball, it was Pittman easily getting there first and chipping it over the helpless keeper for a relatively easy score there for the Mustangs. Just a bang-bang play engineered by the substitute. And that is our only goal to this point. Lucas Pittman, his 9th of the regular season to take the team lead for Tristan Ralph, the substitute forward, his 2nd assist of his sophomore campaign. And it is the Mustangs who will get the first touch, moving from right to left on your computer screen or mobile device as we get set to begin the second half of play here on the Mustangs' home turf. And here's a line drive ball that goes by everybody, and the Panthers' Dominic Kafori, the sophomore, is just going to let it go out of bounds for a Franklin Regional throw-in in their own half. And now this throw-in is misplayed by Hudson, out of bounds, last touched by one of the Mustangs. Well, actually last touched by one of the Panthers, but they're going to call a foul on the Mustangs, and that will necessitate another throw-in by Kafori. Correction. Free kick from the midfield stripe, and Kafori will yield to Samuel Dawson, the junior, who drives it deep to his left. And it's cut off at the top of the box by the Plum defense. Franklin Regional in possession. Here's a nice cross for DeFalco, who heads it just wide of goal. Oh, my goodness. DeFalco would have brought at least a fraction of the house down if he had scored on that one. Again, you always have to keep one eye on number 21 in white. DeFalco just missing off the header that he was trying to ticket for the far post. And a minute 10 in, we have a goal kick for the Plum Mustangs.
Goal kick, Plum.
Low line drive by Zalewski. Goes off a Franklin Regional head, and the Panthers will send it back into the Plum half where it is misplayed up ahead by Zimmerman, the junior, and it'll be a throw-in near side for Plum. And this goes off Zimmerman's noggin one more time, unintentionally in that instance, and Zimmerman is able to glance it up ahead to Colton Hudson. Hudson with a little bit of space now tries to tap it through the Plum defense. A cheeky pass, not quite cheeky enough, and the Mustangs swarm to that ball and work it up to midfield. Long ball now down the left side, intended for one of the Mustangs, and it goes out of bounds for a Plum throw-in. 1-0 to the hosts here on 43 minutes. And it'll be a throw-in for Kyle Ryan, the senior defender, who crosses into the box, intended for Yorick, the dangerous senior, and it goes past Yorick and everybody else for that matter, and it'll be a deep throw-in defensively for the Panthers.
Tonight for your JV Plum cheerleaders. Round of applause.
Franklin Regional now fighting to work this ball out of its own end, and eventually it does. Carrying the mail for Franklin Regional is Samuel Dawson. Dawson up ahead looking for Dylan Tom. Tom unable to accept that pass. Plum going the other way. Here's a nice ball on the left side for Lucas Pittman, the lone goal getter to this juncture. Pittman hesitates, dribbles, and it's knocked out for a corner kick. Good defensive work there and deep by the junior, Nick Rupnick. And let's see if Pittman's going to take this one. Well, in any case, the Mustangs go short with it as Pittman deferred to one of his Plum mates. And it's a goal for the Mustangs off the set piece! Set up by Pittman. 2-0 to the Mustangs. We've seen that movie before. Let's see if this time it follows a different script. And it is Tyler Schreckengast netting his third of the campaign. He was right on the doorstep of Selikar, and he glanced that one right off the dome and across the line into the back corner of the net. And on the 44th minute, it is 2-0 to the Plum Mustangs, a set-piece goal, this time set up by Lucas Pittman. And Franklin Regional, perhaps reeling after the restart a bit, reorganizes and retreats for a moment. Kimmich from the middle of his own half, up across the center line. And Franklin Regional not wasting any time. They're trying to get that goose egg off the board quickly now, down 2-0. And they intercept at the top of the box, but the shot attempt is blocked by the Mustangs, and it goes all the way back to the end of the Plum bench, where Plum will gather in the ball via its defensive midfield, and it comes near side of Pittman, who's having the match of a lifetime tonight as the Mustangs are out for revenge against their Section 4 rivals. And again, it was the Mustangs who took that 2-goal bulge for a time being, the last time these two teams played, and it was the Panthers who got a late tally in the first half and won by DeFalco just before the end of regulation to extend the match. Jake Zimmerman played hero. Plum looking for a happier ending in this instance. Pittman and Schreckengost, the goal scorers, 15 minutes apart for the home team. For Tyler Schreckengost, a junior midfielder, his third goal of the season. And for Lucas Pittman, who has already taken the team lead in goals, he now ties Luke Kolinkowski for the team lead with 6 helpers. .46th minute, second half here from Plum High School, where the Mustangs are trying to knock off the reigning WPIAL silver medalists, and prior to that, 2-time WPIAL champions, the Franklin Regional Panthers. Franklin Regional, again, winners of 8 straight coming in. The Plum Mustangs, not to be quite outdone, unbeaten in 7 straight. Both teams in remarkable form, and all leading to this moment here as the Mustangs earn a corner kick at the far flag. Can they ride the crest of the healthy Pittman's wave? We shall see. It's deep into the box, and put just wide. Was that Schreckengost looking for a second? Let's see. It was. And he very nearly got his brace. As it turns out, it'll be another corner kick, this time at the near flag, and it'll be taken by Kolinkowski. Kolinkowski directing traffic. He has it teed up. He drives it beyond the box. This is going to go by everybody, and I think the Panthers are just going to let it go out, and so will the Mustangs for that matter. Defensive throw-in for Franklin Regional, so not quite as much success on that. Scurry. But Plum already with 1 set-piece goal this half, and those set-piece goals, especially when you have 2 solid teams playing each other, those set-piece goals can be difference makers. Nice sliding play there by Kolinkowski to keep this ball in play near side, deep in the attacking third. Kolinkowski working his way out of the left corner. Back for Pittman. Pittman centers it back to one of his offensive midfielders, and now it'll be Kyle Ryan drilling the ball off one of the Panthers. It's loose and scooped up defensively by Dawson of Franklin Regional, as Franklin Regional tries to just clear its area, and it will for a brief moment. Plum right back on the counterattack, though, and it has some space. It has some space deep in the middle of the box, and it's put just wide! Oh, Luke Kolinkowski was that close to potentially putting this one out of reach with still over half an hour to go. The Panthers playing with fire and nearly getting burned for a second time in this second half. Off the goal kick, Plum playing like a team that most decidedly has a 2-goal lead. They're just on top of all these 50-50 balls right now. Seems like they're everywhere, beating Franklin Regional to just about everything. Panthers trying to find a spark here, down 2-0 on 49 minutes. And the Mustangs midfield creating more problems for the Franklin Regional attack. Here's a great ball for Kolinkowski down the left side. Has some space. Dribbles. Deeks. Can he shoot? Yes, he can. And it's Pittman! Lucas Pittman is all about the Bryce No treble. And Plum does get a third. Kolinkowski with a remarkable run down the left side. Couldn't quite finish it. Desperation defense by the Franklin Regional Panthers, but right there was Lucas Pittman to smash in a rebound, and there was not a darn thing that Selikar could have done about that one. On 50 minutes, 3-0 an eyebrow raiser here in Plum Borough as the Mustangs have the Panthers on their heels. Lucas Pittman, his team leading 10th and second of the night, set up by Kolinkowski. And guess what? Kolinkowski takes back his team lead in assists. Sorry to disappoint you, Luke. That for the goal any day and night.
Back into the game for Franklin Regional, number 23, Joey Bain.
Bain, the freshman, coming back in. The offensive midfielder for Thomas Luisi. Franklin Regional looking for some kind of positive to build on as Plum has come out and punched the proverbial schoolyard bully in the mouth here early in the second half with 2 early goals to pad what was a 1-goal lead at the interval. And with it now is Kolinkowski, and what a match he's had this evening, playing the ball defensively back to his keeper, Zalewski, and almost a giveaway there that could have led to something of a sloppy goal as Colton Hudson was a gnat's eyelash away from taking that ball off the feet of Zalewski as he tried to clear it off his line, and he would have had an open net if he had gotten a piece of that one. In any event, it remains 3-0 to the Mustangs on 51 minutes here on a running second half clock. Plum with it in its own midfield area. Just sort of looking for room to maneuver in the neutral zone, and eventually they are guilty of an offensive foul. This will be a free kick right at the midfield stripe, more or less, for the Franklin Regional Panthers. Quickly on the run now is Dawson. Dawson for DeFalco, who is taken down hard, and that's going to be a foul, and Plum fans not happy, but I'm not sure they get more obvious than that. This is going to be a free kick. And it's a rainbow of sorts that's cleared off the line by the Plum back line. Looking for the rebound and getting there first to the ball is Franklin Regional. Kafori down the left flank, draws a double team, and now he's trapped at the flag, breaks the trap, and looks for one of his mates across the other side of the pitch, and that ball was intended for either Tom or Dawson. Neither one could get to it. And this ball battled for by both sides in midfield on the Plum half of the pitch, and it'll be a throw-in for Franklin Regional on 53 minutes. Plum 3, Franklin Regional 0. Pittman in the 29th and 50th minutes, sandwiching a 44th minute tally by Tyler Schreckengast off a set piece. Sophomore defensive midfielder Lorenzo Aguilera coming in off the bench for Luisi's Panthers. as the Mustangs are looking to put a little more icing on their cake potentially here as they have the ball at the top of the attacking third. Aikut with it, goes to the right side, and they try to center it, it looked like, for Kolinkowski, but that was broken up well by the Panthers' back line. And Franklin Regional tries to mount a counterattack, but Plum playing the role of circuit breaker in that midfield area. And a clever dispossession there by one of the Mustangs. That was Pittman, I think. Or no, that was Aikut, I'm sorry. As he goes left side to Pittman. Pittman's lead ball intended for Tristan Ralph was intercepted by Kimmich, the junior defensive midfielder. And eventually the ball was played out of bounds between the benches. And this will be a foul, I believe, against the Mustangs, and a defensive free kick just shy of midfield for the Franklin Regional Panthers on 55 minutes. Plum trying to rewrite a script here at home this evening against the rival Panthers. That second goal obviously big. That third goal, for reasons aforementioned, even bigger, or so it feels at this juncture. Plum putting all kinds of pressure on the Panthers early in the second half, and Franklin Regional just hasn't been able to recover. Here's a hard hit from distance by one of the Mustangs that goes well wide and right of goal. It'll be a goal kick for Selikar. Didn't quite catch a glimpse of who fired that ball. I apologize. Actually, it might have been Morrill. Actually, that was Kolinkowski, number 10 of the home Mustangs. Kolinkowski with an assist on the most recent Plum goal, which also happened to be the second of the night for Pittman, as nearly spoiling the clean sheet was Colton Hudson. Hudson really showing some nice hustle offensively for Franklin Regional. That's the second time he almost generated a turnover by the keeper, Zalewski, but again, Zalewski was able to make the play. Pittman with it now, left wing, marked closely by one of the Panthers. That's Aguilera, who just came off the bench for the visitors. Deflected out of bounds by Kafori. Ball was intended near side for Schreckengost. It'll be a throw-in. And Kolinkowski has it. Sends it into the corner near side for Pittman. Pittman, from right in front of the flag along the line, is played back in the other direction and back toward Pittman, out of bounds for a throw-in. And it is hurled back into play by Kyle Ryan before it is sent over the back line by one of the Panther defenders, and it'll be a corner kick for Lucas Pittman and the Plum Mustangs, who are looking for a knockout blow and then some here in second half action against the section leading Franklin Regional Panthers. How long that section lead lasts at this point seems very much up in the air. Set piece is nothing doing, and tripped in the Plum half is Colton Hudson, drawing a foul. And it'll be a free kick just inside the offensive half to the Panthers as officials quickly blow a whistle. And somebody might be going into the books here. Yes, that is Michael Waleski going on notice as he is cautioned in the 58th minute. Waleski having a strong game defensively, and from the senior we've come to expect nothing less, but he gets a little overzealous trying to knock Hudson off the ball, and it leads to a free kick here for Franklin Regional, down 3-0.
Substitution, number 20, Aldi Flowers.
Aldi Flowers coming back in, meanwhile, for the Mustangs, as Franklin Regional is being very deliberate on this set piece. It's a line drive right into the heart of the box and put it in the back of the net by the Franklin Regional Panthers. On the 58th minute, the donut disappears. 3-1 is the lead now for the Plum Mustangs off the set-piece goal, and it is, who else? Colton Hudson, who's been buzzing and looking for that first Franklin Regional tally in the second half. And Hudson, kin to the former Franklin Regional bench boss, who finally gets it, and the Panthers try to find a pulse. So moments after one of the top defenders for the Mustangs is shown yellow and takes a bit of a breather, is compelled to take a bit of a breather, it is off the free kick. Hudson getting just enough of his head on that ball right in the middle of the box, and Zaleski couldn't quite catch up to it. And so it's a 2-goal game with 22:40 to go in regulation. Plum off the restart. Goes right back and forth, and they slingshot the ball past the midfield stripe, where it's eventually taken by Kolinkowski. Kolinkowski taps it backward near side for Ryan. Ryan almost gave it away, but the Mustangs are able to retreat, and Dylan Akut saves that ball for Plum. Mustangs with some aggressive footwork, trying to build up some possession here in midfield and protect that 2-goal bulge with 22 minutes remaining. Flowers with it near side. Watched closely by Kafori. Flowers looking for Urick up ahead, pass a little too far, and it's cleared by Kimmich. Here are the Panthers with it one more time. Dawson defensively is taken down and draws the foul. It'll be a defensive free kick for the Panthers. And just a little love tap on that ball sends DeFalco the other way. In hot pursuit is Hudson, the goal scorer for Franklin Regional. Cleared out of bounds near side. It'll be a throw-in deep in the attacking third for the Panthers. Kafori off the restart, looking for DeFalco on the cross. That one was a little too far, though. And Nick Rupnick, the junior defender, at the top of the circle, tried to send it up ahead for one of his teammates. He couldn't. And now Plum giving chase to a ball deep on the right wing in Franklin Regional territory. The Panthers forced to tap it out of bounds, and that leads to a Mustangs throw-in, and a quick one at that. Here's a cross intended for Urick that is well cut out. And some contact there in front of the Franklin Regional bench. Play on, they say. And so we will. It'll be a throw into Plum. And now we do get a whistle as the Mustangs make a substitute, and it is their second goal scorer of the evening, Tyler Schreckengast, re-entering for Raf Kolinkowski. 3-1 to Plum on 60 minutes, trying to knock off one of the top teams in boys class AAA, the Franklin Regional Panthers.
Let's hear it, student section.
Urick with it, top of the attacking third for Plum. Instead, though, he's going to retreat, and the Mustangs are going to try and reset the play here in the Franklin Regional half, but they cannot. Colton Hudson with a little one-touch backward pass for Bain, and it goes up ahead for Aguilera. Aguilera trying to catch up to that through ball, couldn't. And this one looks like it's going to be, they say last touch by one of the Mustangs, so it's going to be a corner kick, actually, for Franklin Regional, and I believe DeFalco is going to take it.
Back into the game for Franklin Regional, number 5, Jake Zimmerman.
Jake Zimmerman, the hero of the last match between these teams, re-entering for the Panthers. DeFalco into the box, settled down by one of the Panthers, but they can't catch up to the loose ball, and a quick clearance there by Akut. Mustangs on the counterattack. Here's Kolinkowski all alone, but getting to the ball up ahead of the play first is a sprawling, diving Orion Selikar, the sophomore. Kolinkowski had everybody beat except for the keeper, as Selikar smothered that one, and Plum will have to reset. And another substitute for the Mustangs here, as Zachary Fulton, the senior defenseman, has come into the game, seeing more action off the bench for Kolinkowski's side. And he has an opening here as Salopek beats him to a loose ball, sort of a carbon copy of the play that Kolinkowski tried to score his second on just moments ago. Second point of the game, that is. Kolinkowski with a helper on the Pittman tally in the 50th minute. Franklin Regional trying to erase a 2-goal deficit, and it has less than 18 minutes to try and do so. Mustangs standing their ground defensively, and they work with speed up the right flank. And here's a nice little track meet along the far side here that's going to be won by the Mustangs. And down the middle of the field is Flowers. Flowers is open. He shoots. Scores! The flowers are blooming in Plumboro. And the more things change, the more they stay the same. It is a Flowers scoring a big goal in a big game for the Plum Mustangs. And this time the 4-1 scoreline is reversed with under 18 minutes to play. A perfect cross by Kolinkowski, his second in a row. And the freshman Flowers scores his fifth of the season, and Plum pulls that goal right back. Aldi Flowers, the offensive midfielder and freshman, as Zalewski is forced to jump and save a long, long ball that was driven Carly Lloyd style all the way from midfield to the goal line. And again, Flowers scoring his fifth goal of the season in the 62nd minute to make it a 4-1 lead for the Plum Mustangs. Kolinkowski, his 8th assist of the Derby. And that was just a pure foot race down the right wing. Both players neck and neck. Kolinkowski won the race at approximately the corner flag and just sent a perfect ball to Flowers, who nobody was covering for the Panthers. And Flowers beats Selikar cleanly to the bottom left corner of goal. Franklin Regional in desperation mode here, which is a mode in which they are not used to being. But let's see what the Panthers do, down 4-1 on 64 minutes here at Plum High School. Mustangs that close to a massive statement victory here and earning a virtual dead heat atop Section 4. They have played one fewer match in section play than Franklin Regional, but both teams would be sitting on one section loss apiece, and both teams obviously would have split the regular season series if this scoreline holds. Plum aggressively pursuing a fifth, but it's going to be a goal kick or a defensive zone goal kick, a defensive zone kick for want of a better phrase, for the Franklin Regional Panthers. 15 to play. And it looks like Flowers was trying to shield his man from the ball there, as he was right between the benches while both teams looked to make some substitutions late in this second half. Plum sending the ball deep down the left side and earning a throw-in in the Franklin Regional final third.
Back into the game for Plum, number 21, Ethan Rose.
Rose re-entering for the hosts.
Back into the game for Franklin Regional, number 22.
And Tom, the junior midfielder, back in for Franklin Regional. Not much to write home about on that set piece. Instead, Plum will play the ball at midfield as they continue to move with great urgency here in this second half. And a second half that, again, if it holds up, you got to look at it and say that it was one of the crossroads of this 2021 season, potentially for the Plum Mustangs. Plum nursing a 1-0 lead at the break and quickly adding to it in the first 10 minutes with 2 goals. One off a set piece by Tyler Schreckengoss, one in the run of play by Lucas Pittman, his second of the evening. Colton Hudson spoiling a potential third consecutive clean sheet for the Mustangs, but counterpunching just 4 minutes later was the substitute, Aldi Flowers, set up by Kolinkowski, and that's where we stand right now. This ball sent deep, too deep for any of the Panthers to do anything about it, and it'll be picked up by Zalewski. And the Mustangs work it to the left side of their back line and up to their midfield, where it's taken by Kyle Ryan, who's pinching defensively into the Franklin Regional half. Now Ryan goes down, nothing called, as Plum plays the ball out of bounds in front of the Franklin Regional bench. It'll be a throw-in for the Panthers. And now the substitutes will get an opportunity finally to enter on 68 minutes here.
Franklin Regional substitution, number 25, Benjamin Poole, and number 26, Danny Cristofano.
Benjamin Poole and Danny Cristofano, sophomore and freshman respectively, for Thomas Luisi's Franklin Regional Panthers, coming into the match for the first time tonight. And meanwhile, it is Morrill, the junior defenseman, re-entering. He a member of that Plum starting 11. Under 12 minutes in regulation. Plum trying to salt this one away here at home as we get a defensive foul called just shy of the midfield circle. And this will lead to a free kick at the stripe for the Plum Mustangs. And DeFalco seems to have been the guilty party on that sequence. Clock stopped on the 11:43 mark here in the second half. As now we have the restart. From the center line, it's a long one, and it'll be defended successfully by the Panthers. Poole, the sophomore, just into the game, boots it backward and out of play. It'll be a throw-in to Plum, deep in Franklin Regional territory. On the restart, it is Ryan, looking for eventually Pittman, but Pittman couldn't handle that ball, and it'll be a throw-in defensively now for Franklin Regional in the left corner. Well, I stand corrected. They're going to say it was last touched by one of the Panthers, and Kyle Ryan will get to restart. And a warm applause there, deservedly so, for two-time goal scorer Lucas Pittman, who re-enters for Plum. He has scored a pair. He has also delivered a corner kick that yielded what would be the game winner if this scoreline stands. And now more changes for the Mustangs, as Kolinkowski will perhaps empty his bench a bit here with a more secure lead than what he had at this point the last time these teams met. And finally play resumes with a throw-in by the Mustangs deep in the corner of Franklin Regional's offensive zone. Ball will eventually roll out toward midfield where it'll be taken by the Franklin Regional Panthers. Colton Hudson draws the foul as he was trying to go to his right to Joey Bain. And Hudson ends up earning a defensive free kick near midfield for his team. It's a long one. And it's into the box and immediately met by a host of purple shirts. Off the noggin of Tyler Peepon, the freshman defender, into the game for Franklin Regional. Bain with it now for the Panthers. Back to Peepon. And out of play in front of the Plum bench. It'll be a throw-in for Franklin Regional in the Plum half. On 71 minutes and counting. 4-1 for the Plum Mustangs. Potential big result for the home team here in Boys Class 3A Section 4. Trying to avenge an earlier loss to the WPIAL runners-up. And here's a dribbler, sort of a rug burner from distance there, taken. A hard strike by Bain is stopped easily by Zalewski, who drops to his knees and drop kicks this ball back toward midfield after stopping it off the foot of the Franklin Regional freshman. Plum on the attack now. Looking for a through ball to Tristan Ralph, who set up the first goal of the night. Coming off the bench for Raf Kolinkowski, but that was cut off by the Panthers' back line. That was Zimmerman, I believe, who got in the way of that one. And eventually, Plum will earn a throw-in in its own half with under 8 minutes to play in the second half.
Back in the game for Plum, number 8, Lucas Pittman. Back in the game for Franklin Regional, number 21, Anthony DeFalco.
DeFalco takes a bit of a breather, and now the breather is over as DeFalco re-enters. Or will he? Did DeFalco pick up a card there? Well, let's just see what the hubbub is at midfield as officials convene. Clock stopped on 7:43. DeFalco had gone into the books just a short while ago. Our apologies for overlooking that. And apparently what they were conferring about was, did DeFalco have to wait longer, yes or no, to re-enter the match? Well, the answer is yes, apparently. Franklin Regional, in the meantime, after all that confusion with a throw-in, is promptly intercepted by the Mustangs. Oh, what hustle. And an opportunity deep here as they're able to save this ball off the back line, but not for long. Franklin Regional quickly forcing a corner kick to Plum, as Plum is just trying to hold the territorial advantage here and shorten the game as best it can. Plum really impressing with its speed in the second half, but more so impressing with its urgency. They've been there for every key ball, winning a lot of 50-50 battles, and never really seemed to be not in control of the second half as this header is put just wide, I think, by Pittman. Let's see if we can get a better look. And I think that was Pittman who just missed the hat trick. Now DeFalco is able to re-enter for Franklin Regional, and it's been an uncharacteristically quiet night for the All-American, and that's another feather in the cap of the Plum Mustangs. Anytime you can keep him off the score sheet, it's a victory in and of itself. Franklin Regional off the restart with under 6 minutes to play, trailing by 3 goals on the road. They work it up ahead to Danny Cristofano, the freshman. Cristofano has his pocket picked, and with it at midfield is Kolinkowski. Kolinkowski, who has a pair of assists, both of them coming in the second half, with a through ball that's going to be scooped up just in the nick of time by Selikar, the sophomore keeper of Franklin Regional. Again, it just looks like the Panthers really just being outrun and outworked here in this second half. Plum right back on the attack. Through ball for Pittman. Pittman's not going to be able to